So you start Disaster Blaster in 2006.
Mhm.
Now you had the franchise experience. When did franchising enter the picture for you as a possibility? Because here we are in 2024 and we're just starting out franchising. So tell me what led over that, the course of 18 years that has led you to
Yeah,
franchising the company.
we've talked about it for
Yes.
years.
Yeah. I wanted to expand the business. We are, I mean, because of where our home office is located, there's limited population. I mean, it's a small, it's a city, but it's a very small city. So the best way to actually grow this would have been to open another location somewhere. And we were quite frankly looking at places that were near here, like Allentown, Pennsylvania, or something like that. And then we both, unbeknownst to each other, we both started researching franchising, you know. And then the one day, I kid you not, the one day he says, "You ever think about franchising?" And I said, "Sure, I got all my research right here."
Oh my gosh. That's great.
So, and that's what started it, just a few years ago.
Yeah, we looked at it from the standpoint as prior franchisees. We really wanted to tackle it in a different way. We really wanted to build something that was franchisee friendly,
Hmm.
that provided the level of support that we wish we'd had, that was constantly future focused. We always felt that the strength in franchising is that you're able to build on what the franchisor is structuring and building out for you. When they stop building things out for you, you you have less added value as the years go on. So over the last 18 years, we've consistently added additional services. We have two services now that we're working on developing. We're not going to be standing still, and our goal is going to be to continue to increase that value to our franchisees for years to come. In fact, I actually broke it down recently, and in order to get all of the services that you get with a Disaster Blaster franchise, you would have to buy 8 other franchise systems.
Wow. How big is how big is a franchise territory?
200 to 300,000 in population. So our intention is to provide a territory that's large enough that they can build something that could be semi-absentee. So they can bring in project managers, estimators, and technicians.
Hmm. And obviously when you guys were franchisees, you did that full time, I assume. And now
Oh, yes.
with your franchise opportunity, is it a full time requirement? And do they have to work in the business, or can they hire somebody to actually run the business? What's kind of the specs of your FDD?
They can operate the business semi-absentee. Our recommendation is that they still handle the financial side of the business. That's why we recommend semi-absentee as opposed to absentee. But from that standpoint, we operate our local corporate-owned location semi-absentee. We have project managers, we have estimators that handle the day-to-day. I work about 4 hours a week in the business. That's what we want for our franchisees. They don't need to start another business when they have that extra time. They can golf or something, but we absolutely want that to be something that they're able to structure and build. And they're unlikely to deal with or speak to anybody else that has actually done that on the franchising side in the restoration space. So we'll help.
Yeah, more and more of the people that in this industry, when I talk to them, they're working in the business and they're constantly working. If I have to have a business and I have to come in every day and I have to worry about when I can take a week off or when I can do this or that or when my kids were little, I had to worry about whether I could go to a softball game or something like that. I'm not interested. And they shouldn't be either. This should be something that they're developing so that they're paying other people to do the work that needs to be done, and they can sit back and just enjoy the fruits of their labor.
A few years ago, the entire family went to Italy for a month, and the company continued to operate because of the structure that we've put in place. That's what we want for the franchisees. We want them to be able to have that level of independence supported by a great structure and a great company.
So if I was to be a franchisee, Matthew, tell me first of all, what does training and support look like? And then I want you to go to what, who do I need to hire then in order for me to live that, have that, that lifestyle?
So the training and support, we start them off with some industry certification training in the water mitigation services and fire and smoke damage restoration. Once they've completed that training, which they can complete via webinar or in person, they then come to Scranton, Pennsylvania, home of the office. And here we take them through everything from project management, project planning, to sales and marketing, how our different services fit together, the operational component of the business, how we kind of have tailored our approach to different market segments, as well as the organizational growth of the business. So in order for them to, as they scale towards semi-absentee ownership, they will add production technicians, which are actually the technicians actually perform the physical work. They'll add estimators that are able to perform the estimates and the billings and perform the sales function for the projects, and a project manager that will actually manage the completion of the projects. So it structures very, very well as the franchisee can add the roles that they feel less confident in.
Are the people I'm bringing on subcontractors or generally employees?
It'll be both. A lot of the interior work we do complete in-house. Work like roofing, electrical, plumbing, things of that nature. We do subcontract those types of services.
Sure.
But the benefit that we add to that as well is, and generally, you're paid for these services, is roofers, electricians, plumbers don't have a way of structuring things or working with insurance companies. So we kind of step in, we facilitate all of that so that the project is completed timely and correctly.
Okay. And of course, Gary, that's your expertise is in the insurance business. So you get it. I mean, you live the life.
People think it's very easy to deal with the insurance companies, and many of a lot of our competitors make it sound like that. But the reality of it is that they want things certain ways. What you would put together as, say, an estimate, a 3-page estimate, maybe a 40-page estimate to the insurance company. I mean, they want everything documented to the T, everything in square foot, linear foot. I worked with that my whole life.
Right.
And, not to mention that when I started, we were doing all that. You did all that longhand.
I was going to say pen and paper. I always felt too, maybe this is wrong, but I always felt like the insurance company's job is to not pay out. Like that's their perspective, is how do we not pay this thing out to make you jump through all these hoops?
I'll tell you, it depends on the times, and it greatly depends on the times.
Right.
I would say I would agree with you 100% right now. The insurance companies are drastically cutting back on what they want to pay, and are extremely critical right now of anything you submit to them. We've had there's years when customer service is the most important thing. When I was working for the insurance company, I've seen it go up and down depending on, and every insurance company, they all follow suit.
Right.
If one's doing something, they're all going to follow. It's just amazing. You would think that there'd be some creativity, but there never is. I used to be a member of a claims organization. A claims manager organization that used to meet, every quarter, and we'd go there and say, "Oh, my company just did that." Yeah, my company did that too. It's always the same.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.